According to the Oxford Dictionary definition, existentialism is a philosophical theory or approach that emphasizes the existence of the individual person as a free and responsible agent. Meaning, individuals are in fact individuals. Each and every person is free to think, act, and feel based on their personal beliefs. The existentialism philosophy also believes that the quality of life is based on individual choice. You are free to set your own morals, values, and beliefs to determine for yourself the meaning of life.
The philosopher Søren Kierkegaard is often considered the father of existentialism. He attended the University of Copenhagen to study theology and philosophy and had difficulty in school. Meanwhile, he began questioning his own spirituality and personal growth. He believed that there were two spheres or types of lives a person could live. There was the aesthetic life, which focused on pleasure or romantic individualism of a person, or an ethical life, which focused on a sense of duty and searching for obligations. He believed that aesthetic lives would decay and become boring or arbitrary, and he thought ethical lives would lead to the loss of human integrity. Then he later discovered a third sphere or type of life, which revolved around religious individuality to let people live in the truth they find spiritually. He followed this type of life himself and lived the truths he found valid and focused on his own religious development. The idea that people were to choose a life for themselves that revolved around their idea of truth was later projected into education philosophy. People could explore their own learning to find their individual understanding of a topic.
Friedrich Nietzsche was born in 1844 in Prussia, and his father was a teacher and a Lutheran pastor. His father undoubtedly impacted his thinking. Nietzsche is a renowned philosopher of existentialism and has had great influence throughout history. He taught elementary school and then moved on to be a professor at the University of Basel. It was during these years of teaching that he began to criticize the school system for abandoning its once humanistic foundation for a scientific outlook. This criticism continues to be prevalent in today's society with debates over the Common Core curriculum.
At the start of World War II, Sartre was recruited into the military. He was captured by the Nazis in June 1940 and was held as prisoner of war until March 1941, when he escaped and turned to Paris. There he joined the French resistance to Nazi occupation. During the months he spent in captivity, Sartre began work on what would become his famous literature, Being and Nothingness. Published in 1943, the work made Sartre famous and brought his existentialist philosophy to the forefront of an intellectual conversation that followed the war. The purpose of his beliefs is to understand human existence rather than the world as such. In his literature, he defines two types of reality which lie beyond our conscious experience, the being of the object of consciousness and that of consciousness itself.
As an agriculture educator, I could see this philosophy being applied in my agribusiness and marketing class. In this class, each student will create their own business and make business-related decisions. This aligns with existentialism since students must think for themselves. Difficult choices must be made when owning your own company. Students must weigh their options and be prepared to handle the consequences of those choices.
Agricultural education has many facets that are impacted by existentialism. One such idea is that people are at their best when they are struggling, and that decisions involve stress and consequences. Furthermore, students that are growing up on farms can at times have difficulty with school, especially during seasons such as harvest, and cause them to fall behind in their studies. Thus, agriculture teachers have a unique opportunity to build up their students to make sure that in their struggles they become their best.
Mathematics education mostly represents a non-existentialism outlook, as mathematics depend on strictly following the scientific facts given, that information is not seen as adjustable or qualifiable, and are seen as definite. In my future classroom, although math does not reflect an existentialistic mindset, this philosophy can be applied to my teaching style. I will encourage my students to come to their own conclusions and their own understanding of the topics as to shape the subject as personally as possible.
I would use existentialism in my classroom by enforcing personal responsibility in my students. Even though elementary level children are very young, I believe they know right from wrong and should take responsibility for their actions. Existentialism also emphasizes the importance of helping learners develop their own values and understanding themselves within their own cultural context. I will include activities in my daily routine that will help learners explore and express their own values and identities.